Police and Fire Committee meeting with me. I'm passing you out a sample resolution, and I will go into a little more depth to explain what's going on. Basically, what this is that, apparently the governor's office has decided we have a surplus in the state. So the governor's looking at calling a special session. So we can do one of these. The governor's going to call a special session to look at some tax breaks and things that are going to help to deplete part of that overage that they have with taxes. The sheriff forwarded this to me. Apparently this came from part of the AAC. And while yes, we are up near what the average for the state is, a lot of cities and states pay well below the average, which it gives them to you right there in the second paragraph. What this would do, this would cost the county nothing. This is strictly a state income tax refund of up to $3,000. This is merely a resolution of support for that, or that bill that they wanted to bring before the state legislature last term. It did not make it out of committee apparently. All we would be saying is we support this, they wrote this. All we have to do is fill in our county and vote on it, and we send it back to the state. I'll tell you right now, back when I was working as a police officer, it was greatly appreciated. But it's up to you guys as to whether we want to do this. Like I say, it's not going to cost us anything.
Doesn't cost the county.
It doesn't affect just sheriff's departments. This is any full-time law enforcement officer in the state.
I mean, is there any reason, to not do it?
Not that I can think of. Because I'm sure that what they're gonna do is if we do not have a surplus next year, they'll probably limit it, but this is just stating that we support passing it this year.
I'll make a motion that we support the tax incentive for the law enforcement officers. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Being no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Okay, just the 1 year.
No, I don't know that this will be 1 year, but I think it will be permanent. But like I said,
Well, if they don't have the money, are we gonna have to pay it then?
no, this is strictly your state income
Let's let it
tax.
fly.
They will adjust it as they see fit if we don't have the money.
Okay, sounds good.
They'll have money, the military department is gonna take it for years. Always would be, give a $3,000 tax credit to all full-time law enforcement officers in the state of Arkansas. It came up at the end of this past session by Senator Jason Rayford over in Conway, and Senator Keith Slade, or Representative Keith Slade, who was past meeting last year, brought it up, and it got in late at the end of the tax bill, so it didn't make it on the back of blue. So they're gonna put it back in the cover, so they bring it back up and discuss it in a special session coming up pretty quick.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. This will go to full court on the 30th to be voted on. Be read and voted on. Cindy, can you take care of getting that on our agenda for the 30th? And then once it's voted on, we'll go from there. I'm gonna address some, one piece of other business. I did receive from the judge about the court case coordinator for the prosecutor's office. we had asked for information for the past 3 years on their caseload. Several other things we asked for, they have not supplied anything. So, unless somebody else wants to do something with it, I'm just gonna pass on it for this time, and we'll leave it tabled until they decide to bring us this stuff back.
Oh, I thought, was that where they were gonna leave it? Or was that something?
They were also supposed to meet with the cities and see if they would share cost on that. Haven't heard anything back on that.
So the judge and I went to the Blytheville Police Fire Safety Committee, and he, spoke with them. He's going to be speaking with Osceola, whatever day that is this week.
What was Blytheville's response?
Well, at the time, we did not have the numbers for how much the compensation package was, so they wanted that. And then we've sent that out. And the impression was favorable, but, they didn't make a commitment that night. They wanted to see how much the amount was.
We'll see if we get a commitment from Blytheville and Osceola, but I still want to see information on what their caseload looks like.
Yeah. Well, and then, so the information you sent, wasn't it based on a $40,000 a year? Is that what that said?
Yes.
But I thought they asked for a $32,000 a year spot.
It was in our budget. I don't remember.
The email they sent out, the one they've just gotten is 40,000, the one that Tom just sent.
Well, right, but when they came, they were asking for less. weren't
Yeah, it was a little bit less than that, but by the time you added the total package, it's gonna be like 35, because we were figuring it'd be another 15, close to $50,000 package.
Well, no, but the 40 was not including the benefits, was it?
That was it.
No, that's just-
No, now then it's up to 54, 360,
Yeah.
264.
Inflation really.
I was thinking it was 39,000.
I don't think it was, I think it was
May
like,
not have been that high.
I don't think it was that high. I mean, maybe it was, I don't know.
Until we get information back from them, we may just have to wait and go into next year.
We can always amend the budget next year, but my understanding was that we were waiting to see who had what number of cases and how that might be divided in the responsibilities, both financially and court-wise.
Right, especially because because we're all,
They're not, I mean, I'd just like to see that myself before we.
okay,
We need to compare it to the current people too, like Sarah Ramsey and whoever does it in Osceola.
I agree, so I don't have any plans to bring that back out until we get some more information.
It's not included in the new budget currently.
I mean,
And, Molly, we got the whole
I
cars.
know, thank you, I'm talking about stuff on cars.
We need to roll the mileage back on some of those. Can you still do that?
No, they won't go back.
That's been years ago for you
I mean,
to do
there's a
that.
lot of them that are, I mean,
Roll the
What is it?
mileage back and put them on used
what is it,
cars.
maybe, when it says 6, what does that mean? Like replacement, suggested replacement order
Oh.
6,
Got it. That's the order that replacing of 1, 2.
oh, I see,
Three.
okay, prioritized, okay, got it. Well, my goodness, that one, that red is new.
Well, we seem to have one of those every year, usually the insurance ends up replacing others. So that 2021 that was wrecked, how bad was it tore up?
It was, basically a total, but because the numbers were they were right, it really totally, I don't remember exactly cost it, I think we paid like, had like $44,000 in equipment on, we saved all equipment. So, the insurance company would pay us what they were going to do, let us use the vehicle, and they sell it at Copart, all option, where it is different, so more to pay for another vehicle. Replacement vehicle,
So you'll have enough to buy a vehicle with that money.
yes.
What's, like, when it says I mean, I get, like, what is the admin one, like J1, J2, J3, what are those? The
Admin
unit
one's me.
numbers,
That's in the jail.
like, is that like a transport vehicle?
There are two,
No, that admin one is the jail administrative vehicle, as you see, it's 118,000 plus miles, 119,000 miles on it.
She was just asking, what like the J1, J2, are those like just saying that
That's
they're
in the jail.
jail?
Yes,
so are those used for like inmate transport?
no. This one,
Transport are probably the T2Ts. Those are probably transport.
J1 is the jail administrator, the other one is the front office vehicle, I believe is right.
Like, do they drive it home?
No,
Like, any of those, do they drive?
like
any
they
of
have to
that-
go to the bank every day or whatever.
Like, so the admin, J1, J2, and J3 all stay at the jail?
Admin one is driven for business Monday through Friday in the office, back and forth to the bank or whatever. J1, J2, they drive back and forth home on that, because they're, a lot of times they're called in at different hours of the night off shift. So we gave them an older vehicle to drive for that purpose.
So they go in when they're short staffed or what?
Yes,
Or
yes, short staffed, or they get called in on a special, something happened out there, it's called in. R1 is a reserve vehicle. And T1 and 2 and 3 are transport vehicles.
Okay.
What's the C?
T1, two, and three, what are those?
See, ones that got bad engine, 2 and 3, I'm not sure when I put those on there. You asked for a list of everything we got, so we put them all
I mean, do they not drive? I mean, are they just,
on. C2 and 3, I don't think it's driven. Right, well, that's probably 129, it's probably 150. 2 and 3. Yes, sir. So he's holding C2 and 3 back for, when we get to the courthouse, we'll get another transport to issue for him.
So those are like the court security vehicles?
Court security type people.
Do they also transport?
Or if a vehicle goes down on one of our court security guys down in the back.
and so those
So
stay,
they're staying at the jail, sheriff's office, the whole time, this is used back of the vehicle. Now, they will be used full time when we get to courthouse while we're going, and or add 2 more folks. That one at the bottom, the 150, let's say, no, this one here. 150 vehicle about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 down from the top, and it's at the base. That is not our vehicle right now, that's a drug transport vehicle, but they're supposed to sign a title over to us, put in our fleet. They're covered insurance on it. It's at our facility, but that's a drug transport vehicle right now. I'll change it on there. This will tell you, I mean, I don't think it's not our vehicle.
What's that Z105? It's at the top, second one down on the second page.
that's,
Oh, that's not that one.
What is the Z 105 on the second page? That's Z 105 and the C2 and C3. So that's the same, that's the C2 and C3. I understand that. Okay, so those 3 or 4 people, we should have put that Z 105 at the top, the same thing. Okay. I understand, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's just a number he assigned to that unit, but that Z 105, C2, and C3 are set out there as backup for, port security transport. The 150 down, that should have been on the list. So those 3 are set in the sheriff's office, plus the one with the baby. So there's, 4 sitting out there.
and you've got the one that's wrecked, it's out of the shop. You've got 150, and of course, Griggs has the DTF car, and you've got another 150 at the bottom, is that the one he's driving now?
Yes, the one up in the middle way, third down is the detail. That's not ours, we don't own it here.
Do we need that vehicle?
Well, I mean, if they're gonna sign it over to us, and, the attorney over there said that they were gonna sign that over to us, because when they started, they gave one, well, I want those over with the county, well, the county, Corey Seasbach, that new for our guy, the DTF to drive, but it was owned by the DTF out of Jonesboro. So now that it's going back like it was, they're gonna give it to us. Which, they gave the others, blah, blah, Osceola, and I said, yeah, I want it, even though it's got a lot of miles on it, we can use it for something. But right now, it's not our vehicle until they sign that title over to us. We try to keep 3, 4 vehicles back as, spares for transport folks, or in case one of our deputies has a wreck like they just did, or something to that effect, that they have something to track. And then when they get really in bad shape, then we put them up for auction to bid them, but, it behooves us to set those vehicles back, 3 or 4 of them, spares. Any other questions?
So all your transport vehicles are in fair condition, and you got one with 185,000.
What's it?
Those are not gonna be used on patrol, though, they're
No.
not gonna be, there'll never be high-speed pursuits or anything.
Well, okay, so we have 59, so are we gonna keep it at 59, even though they're gonna give us one? Or are we gonna move up to 60?
Well, what we do when we get new vehicles, we get rid of something, we keep the worst ones until it's auction. And we keep the better out of the other vehicles for spares.
Right, but I guess okay, so if you count, you have 59 cars,
I understand.
and then if we take the DTF car, that puts us up to 60.
Right.
So will we be trying to maintain 60 from here on out, or 59?
Yes, but again, when we get these new vehicles in, we jockey those around, we'll take the worst vehicles and put out for the auction and try to keep, no more than 60.
So we
But
are
I
moving
haven't-
up to 60, is
I
that?
haven't put a number on it in the past, but we just come up with these, other slides about a year ago, and every other vehicles. So,
basically, we have 48 officers, 48 deputies that operate vehicles on a
Every
daily
day.
basis. Okay. And then you have 3 transport vehicles,
That's right.
and if you got 2, there's one that got a bad motor, so if you eliminate that C1, you take that down to 2. What, now, you got
Each
the,
deputy has a car.
Right,
Yes,
well,
I have
it looks
taken-
like everybody.
no, not everybody, because there's a bunch of them sitting out here. But, the jail administrator has a car that he takes on.
Is
Is
that
that
the,
correct?
Yes,
which one's that?
J1.
So how many deputies, officers, admins, whatever, have cars total? Like, who all has a car, you know? Right? Who all has a car that they take home?
I don't know.
Every full-time deputy has to take home.
Did you wait,
The
you have a,
the ones I'm not sure about are, like your admin 1, J1, 2, 3. What is the M1?
It's a maintenance vehicle.
Okay,
so it doesn't go home.
Yes, it does. It gives them plus, he's a reserve engine.
and R1's your reserve car. And the transport vehicles, those are used strictly for the jail.
Yes.
I've got one on there. Got the jail up there. Got 2 spares there. That's 54. So I'm assuming whoever wrecked this 21 model, number 139, is driving one of the spares down here somewhere.
Yes.
It's a bad motor that's not even in use.
So the J1, J2, J3, those were the jailer cars, and they're not transport vehicles, and then you have separate transport vehicles?
Well, they can be used for transport, and sometimes they do.
The J1s?
All 3 of them.
Yeah, J1, 2, 3.
So they got the new cars, like, or some of the new cars.
Well, no, I don't give any of the jail staff any new vehicles. The one that was
Do they go
wrecked
home?
up there.
They just don't, yeah, they just don't, I guess they just don't go anywhere but back and forth.
Yes,
They're having a little while.
and this one is just involved in an accident, that was a transport person.
That J3 was a transport person.
139.
Oh, what was wrecked.
So the J1, 2, and 3 are jail cars, but they also go home, correct? Because the jailers need to come back.
Are the J1, 2, and 3, are they like your supervisors in the
Yes.
jail?
Yes.
So
And they use them.
J1 is the jail administrator. He's subject to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, go back to the jail.
Okay.
And then these other 2 are gonna be like your lieutenants in the jail.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if you had a major problem, they're gonna be coming.
And they use them for transport as well,
Yeah,
if needed.
I mean, there's different times, you can't, there's no rhyme or reason where they get called out, have to come out ill in the jail. Maybe a medical issue, maybe, some,
The question is, I mean, if we paid the mileage for that, would that be, I mean, wouldn't that be more economical than simply about having all these cars?
Well, I think we'd have to look at giving them line item for mileage, and I don't know that, you know, that would be up to, that's something finance would have to look at, we can do that.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that, it's like,
Well, so, okay, if we have 60, and you said, and I'm just trying to think, so if we need to keep, so how many do we rotate out every year?
Right now, we've been rotating out
we're gonna go
about
take out 6.
6. So that takes us 10 years? I mean, is that feasible?
Well, if you look at the fact that, like, a lot of these vehicles
8 years, 7, 8 years.
will be in patrol for a
Right.
little while, and then they're moved to like, some of these take-home cars for J1, J2, and J3, they probably never get a brand new car. I know that admin one, wasn't that your old car, Sheriff?
Yes, yes, they were.
And he drove it for like 3 years, and then he went to jail.
Yeah, we got a transport
Yeah.
in 2004.
Yeah. Transports are,
So is that, I mean, but I guess I'm asking, is that a reasonable thought to do 6 a year? Is that reasonable?
Well, if you look at 44 for patrol, and, transport folks, we really need to be closer to 8 if you're to rotate them out in, say, 6 years.
If we just, some years, we couldn't buy it.
That's right.
No, I know, that's what I mean, I guess, I mean, that's just my whole thing, my thing is if we're gonna, I mean, if we're gonna try to budget for 6 or 8 or,
you really need 80 a year. Because a lot of, it's hard to say, but like, the CID will get a new car generally. How many folks do you have in CID?
We got, 5 CID, 2 or 3, 2 DTF.
So a lot of times you'll have one of those cars go to one of them because they'll have one of the bad cars, just like their DTF officer. Griggs had 165,000 miles on that car. So his replaced with a new one.
Because they're not gonna be able to, fund anymore.
How can you replace the transport lanes? Because aren't most of these transport vehicle vans are using cars?
The 2 transport officers are driving, cars, and we got the van, and, we got 2 vans, we don't have to.
One of them is back to,
Okay,
what's in the budget? 6 or 8?
6.
Is it just 6? I thought we went ahead and put a.
I did
You
2.
had 180,000 in there, should have been closer to 240 for 8 of them. Cause they're about 30,000 a piece. And you don't always buy, because I've been looking at the pricing on them, they jumped dramatically
This year,
this year.
yeah.
So you don't always buy like the Charger went up quite a bit, and some of the pickups did.
Right.
That's why you've been buying the Nitros and using, or not,
Now,
With
we've also bought
Durango.
Durango.
they're less expensive later on. Here's a question for you. Can we get this down to 55 cars?
Well, you go back and look at it, I mean, I don't wanna throw it out there right now. I mean, I know what you want, but I mean, I've gotta say, I don't wanna shoot myself in the foot.
No, I don't like it, listen,
Okay.
I'm just thinking, we just
You're
need to.
asking a good question, okay, a good question, and we're gonna go back and talk about it.
Look at it and see what you can do.
Yes.
Well, and I think we should we should come up with a plan that we can reasonably I think it would be better to be on the 8-year mark, to where we're replacing all cars every 8 years instead of 10. Now, that seems, I mean, some of,
Absolutely.
and so I think we should try to get to a number that seems that the budget can handle that,
Right,
every, we certainly don't wanna get back to the spot where we can't do any, or have a whole bunch of old ones. I'd rather have fewer new ones than a bunch of old.
It wasn't the sheriff's department that put us there though.
well,
I'm just saying, that's what I mean. I would like like them all to be new, I mean, it would be nice.
You know, like the vehicle in the front office, an old Nitro, I'm not sure what they use right now. But it was, they had to go to banks, Marshall was having to come serve it court at least once or twice a week, based on the jail plan. So that was just a float around car, just for all you stayed out there at night. And we gave them one of the older cars that was in decent shape to use for that, you know, business.
No, it makes sense, I mean.
And then, the others, I don't give any of the new cars, they all go to patrol, CID, DPF, street ground guys. And, you know, it just makes sense to me, if we had a decent car that was usable, and we scaled them down, divvied out to these other guys that had a need for it, like J1, J2, J3, to come back and forth to take care of events, special things. So, that's the reason they got, we'll pass it down vehicles.
And believe it or not, that happens in every department. Most of the time, a lot of the CID didn't even use their car. If they did, maybe they don't wear it 3 or 4 years. Because most of the time, they got the used cars that were gently, what we call gently used. Not
Well-
even supervising car that passed out.
Well, if I might say too, you know, I operate here just like the state police did when I was, you know, any new officer got oldest cars. Because they get out there, a lot of them gonna wreck one, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So,
it makes a lot of
I
sense.
do not give a new deputy a new car, he's gonna send in an old car at least 3 years till he's proven himself before he gets a better car. Then, when we get the new ones in, I rotate them down, and then they work into a better vehicle.
So it's like a promotion, like you get a good car.
Well, I mean, it's only the right thing to do.
I know, it really, it
I mean,
makes
you got to
sense,
do
I
that.
mean, yeah, trust me, when I was a new driver, I didn't get a good car. So,
No,
I mean, it makes sense.
Older ones are like in fair condition, looking at like the newer model, and they're in poor, you know what I mean, so.
But what you have to keep in mind is, if
How they
it's
drive,
been in patrol for 5 years, you consider that any given night. In the city of Wylie, we put 100 miles on a car in one night.
Oh, yeah.
So you take and do that at the sheriff's department, they may put 200 miles on it.
Mhm.
And
Is there like a mileage thing, do they tell how many miles they got?
they keep up with the mileage, but, you know, it's not, and when gas prices get really high, they don't park centrally in your zone. To work call. Back on the I-6 drive.
the T3 vehicle is an old van that we use as an SRT SWAT van, a T3, so it's not run except on a need-based, need basis. And, like you said, when I first came in, the first 3 years in the office, our budget was his. You can identify that. I mean, and we were scrounging for everything. I had to use, give you a little history, I had to use the balance of the 2010 budget tires with a new 10 vehicle we got that year to get by on the tire budget. I was cutting 45% tire budget. Well, I'm not gonna run a deputy out there on Maypop tires. I mean, it's a liability issue, right? Alright, and then, so we finally worked out of that situation. And there was times that, several times, more than once, that I used state police policy, and things got tight, our gas budget was tight. I put them on a 2,500 mile a month, limit. Put them back to 2,000, put them back to 1,500. I said, okay, you're out there patrolling, you gotta go take the call. When you get through that call, you park and watch in a location where there's a high crime area. I mean, you have to do it. State police done it numerous times under Bill Clinton and the governor after that, and you had to do that to get through the budget cycle, plus try to do your job. So, and I'm telling you that when you do that to the deputies or troopers or other law enforcement, Nick can attest to this, they don't like it.
Well, no.
But they're not the administrator, they're not the one that works the budget. That's me in my case with the colonel of state police. And the deputies and the troopers don't like setting park on the mileage limit. But I did it several times, I hadn't done it lately, But with what's going on now, we may have to do that again. But at the same time, if we get a call for service, our guys have been instructed, y'all go take that call. We gotta do that. And then if that one's miles go up that month, and he can substantiate, or she, why her mileage is over what I asked them to keep it under, then it's okay. If they're not, they're gonna get called in. You know, I mean, you may have one, I got, say, if I got them on 2,500 mile a month restriction, and this one person comes in, he run 3,200 or 3,300, and he's gonna get called in, why are you running 3,300? Then he proves, hey, I had excess call this month, and I know y'all hadn't thought about it, but when you're law enforcement, this is a big county. If you go from the 72.5 mile marker up here on the north end to the 27.5 on the south end of the county, a couple of times, you've done blown your mileage out. I mean, you've blown your mileage out. I remember one time, the state police, they put us on a 1,500 mile restriction in Mississippi County, but they still wanted their contacts every month. If your contacts got down, they're calling you in. Why have you not got your contacts up?
I'll give you a worst case, go from bird song to tomato.
You have a problem.
You got 100 miles right there.
That's right.
Any way you look at it.
So, I mean, you know, as a manager, I've been there, as a trooper, on that, cut back on mileage is not fun, but you make it work. You figure out a way to make it work and get your numbers up and keep your miles down.
Well, so, okay, so currently we have 14 cars, and I don't know if they're all on the core list, but currently we have 14 cars that are 2015s or older. So,
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of
if
times-
there's any way that we could do the 6 that are in the budget and then do the additional ones with the other money, potentially, then I would think that would get everything kind of new,
Then what kind of rotation cycle you want?
and then we can move forward with, with the
I'm
rotations.
gonna step out there and say something. I don't look at the earmark.
Well, but I think they're
Look
all
at
in
your
the
mileage.
cores.
Look at, everything he's got listed, 1 through 10 is poor condition. If we could do the 10, that would at least get him to where everything's in good or fair condition. And then you start to, what you wanna do is, you'd like to keep them under 125,000 miles. And I don't know how many he's got, but I'm gonna guarantee it's
I've never
more.
been able
Well, I know what Missouri used to do,
to. Right.
and if we did, to do something like that would be great. They put 50,000 miles on a car, and they turned around and sold it, and they only sold it for like $7,000
Well,
less than
okay.
they bought it for.
I mean, you can average on any police car, a year, you gonna run 3,000 miles a month, that's 36,000 miles a year. Well, in 5 years, at 36,000 miles, you do the numbers.
Over 150,000.
Yeah, well over.
But so if you look at it, okay, so if you say everything under 125, then I mean, you have 17. So it's not, I mean, that any more than the 14. So I'm not necessarily making the motion, I'm just talking out loud. I think that if possible, this would be a great area for us to get the fleet in a newer, everything above something, and then look at a rotation
Here's a
in the years to
suggestion.
come.
Let's ask him to look at his vehicle assignment, see if he can see how many of these he can eliminate.
So we
If
we
he
gonna
can,
do
if
that.
he can eliminate 4 or 5, and then give him 10, you'll be accomplished in your 15.
I mean, yeah,
And then look at doing 80 year after that from now on, and allow him to continue to sign the new person who just starts out, maybe a car with 60,000 miles on it for 3 years to run. Or it goes to the office personnel, or it goes to the jail transport team.
See, in 5 years, we don't have 180,000 miles on the car, so they're out there doing the job.
Yeah.
And that's in 5 years. You don't wanna have a police officer running a 180,000 plus mile car out there, because it's really got more wear and tear on it, 180,000 miles, because of idle time or whatever. they're sitting out here in this freezing winter time, I'm not gonna have to turn the engine off. And they're 30, 40 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So, that vehicle's got more wear and tear on the drivetrain than 180,000 miles. You'll see no shade off of the vehicle running 10 miles. They're gonna get it, try to get it to 125, 150.
Now, I think the
Hopefully, we're
100,
gonna rotate them down.
I mean, I think the 125,000 is a good goal. I mean, I think that's a,
So,
it's a, I mean,
if you can help me reach that goal, then everybody will
I mean, I think it's a good goal. I mean, I really do.
4 years. That's about 4 years, 120, about 4 or 5 years.
That's right. Well, 5 years, they run it 30,000 miles.
Oh, but he's
That's big.
rotating.
But then you can
Right.
rotate it, you can
Yeah.
rotate to an admin.
Yeah, you
active
rotate
vehicle.
them
That's what
back
I've
up,
been doing.
yeah.
I've been taking the old ones, rotating them down.
Is
Yeah,
there any,
and when you get them into an admin position, if you could keep them under 175,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's what you look. You know, like I said, if you went by Missouri's model, Missouri trades at 50,000 miles, they're treated as a brand new car. His old car is taken in, it's sold, and they have a set price. If it's 2 years old, it's this amount of money. If it's 3 years old, it's less. If it's 4 years old, it's less. If it's a 1-year-old car, you're gonna pay almost the new price for it.
well,
But, you know, you very rarely have one. But you'll find a supervisor's car that may be 8 years old with 50,000 miles.
I got one seat out of the office, I live in there. Hers is, my charger, I don't remember which one it said, what is it, 10, what is she? 109? No, she's not 6. She's 8, 108. That's a 16 model car. It's got 46,000 miles. It's a low number, and that's the reason. But that's
Last time she-
0 car, but that's not the case on everybody out there. She's a supervisor at CID. So her car doesn't have very many miles on it, even though it's, getting ready to be 6 years old. It's still a good car. You still can keep it for a while.
okay. I mean, I think,
Well,
like I
She
said, I
may
think
not
this
keep
is
it,
a,
but somebody will keep it for a while.
No, she will keep it for a while.
I think it's an opportunity. So, okay.
That was just a discussion, we look at it.
And Captain had put this together and a couple things, you know, I didn't look at it that closer, I wouldn't have had the PTO people on there, but, you asked me for all the vehicles, miles, so I didn't hold, you got the whole issue.
No, I think it's good. I mean, I think I think we have an opportunity in the upcoming, the next 30 years to make sure that your entire fleet is good, and then move forward with a rotation that you can live with and that the county budget can live with as well. I think it's a good time.
I really don't wanna keep one in a car more than 6 years max.
Yeah.
Cause you look at about 150,000 miles on this car.
So, I mean, I think if we get them moving, then 6 may work, because then you'll have a lot more, yeah, they'll rotate easier. Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Anybody have anything else that needs to come before the committee? And I'm gonna call this one adjourned, I'm gonna do it.